9440.
4405.
9440 405
Welcome back, crime fighters. It's time for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place for all of us by helping us lock up the bad guys. I'm your host, Chris Wright, along with Chief Deputy Matthew Wade from the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. Matthew, good to see you.
Glad to be here again. Another successful week.
Yeah, more than one a day, right?
Yeah, I mean, got 9 arrests this week, and once again, filling up the screen for 3,090 people put behind bars, all because of this show and people helping out and building that community effort, because we can't do it by ourselves. You know, thank you for the help.
Now, we're coming up on Memorial Day. That's a week from, well, it's this coming Monday. So we're almost there. Memorial Day is a lot of fun, and we're going to talk about some of the efforts that are going on with law enforcement to try to keep us safe over the Memorial Day on the highways in just a few minutes when we get into the guest segments. But there are other things that we need to talk about for safety over the holiday as well.
Absolutely. You know, whenever you go out and you're doing things like barbecuing or having parties, you need to make sure that you keep safe. You know, just in general, especially if you introduce alcohol in any kind of situation, sometimes the bad things happen. You just want to make sure you keep you cool and keep your good sense about you, because you do those kind of things. If you drink and drive, or you get drunk, and fights seem to break out at these kind of parties, and we respond to those as well. So
now,
hopefully.
The number one way to stay safe at a Memorial Day grill party is don't touch the meat on my grill. Leave it alone. Don't cause none, won't be none.
Don't pick at my ribs.
All right. But no, seriously, it is a time where tensions get high sometimes. People do kind of start some things, so just, you know, be aware of the situation around you.
When the weather gets warm, people get outside more, they start partying some, and we do see an increase in violence and domestic violence and calls for service. And hey, everybody needs to have a good time, but keep it a good time.
And especially if you're celebrating out on the water.
Absolutely. You know, boating is fun, but it ain't fun when you get hurt, and there's always several instances of that during Memorial Day weekend. People getting killed in car wrecks, and we always think it's going to be somebody else. Just need to make sure we plan ahead. If you're going to partake in drinking, make sure you got a plan of where you're going to stay, how you're going to arrive and get back. Just simple stuff that everybody knows, but look, just enact a plan.
Absolutely. All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the first half of this week's lineup, and we're going to talk about some ways that might protect your safety and your wallet over the holiday here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Congratulations, Sheriff Amerson, John Garlick, and Matthew Wade, my friends, for 10 years of Calhoun County's Most Wanted and over 3,000 arrests. Way to go, guys.
Congratulations, Calhoun County's Most Wanted and Crime Stoppers, for 10 great years. And thank you to the citizens of Calhoun County for putting 3,000 people behind the bars. Yay!
Looking for a new or used vehicle? AOD Federal Credit Union can help. We offer low interest rates and financing terms to work with your budget. We can save you time and money, whether it's at one of our convenient office locations or through one of our participating dealers. Visit an office, call, or head to AODFCU.com to get your best deal now. Low auto loan rates, always at AOD Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions may apply. To obtain additional details and cost information, call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
a crackhead,
drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch
like me.
I once was
homeless,
broken, sad,
just lost.
But now I am
sober,
happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Hi, I'm Crystal Meth. Try me once, I might let you go. But if you try me twice, then I'll own your soul. I take kids from their parents and parents from their kids. I'll take and take until you have no more to give. I'll take everything from you, your looks and your pride. I'll ravage your body and control your mind. Now that you've met me, what will you do? Will you try me or not? It's all up to you.
Hi, I'm Katina Houston with Family Links, and this is the parenting tip of the week. If your home is anything like mine, meal times can sometimes be very stressful. Between the sit still, eat your vegetables, stop smacking, and yes, you do have to eat that, meal times can become somewhat unpleasant. So how can we make meal times more pleasant? First, don't run a restaurant. Make one meal, but offer options as to how to have it served. When most of us were kids, we ate what was put in front of us, and there was never any ambivalence from our parents about any other options. Therefore, we ate. 2, make dinner conversation enjoyable. This should be happy conversation time. This is the time to share ideas and tell stories. This is an opportunity to have that quality time we hear so much about but often don't have time to pursue. 3, teach good table manners at home and your children will use good manners in public. If you wouldn't think it funny to have your child display his mouthful of food to your host at a dinner party, I suggest not letting him get away with it at home. And 4, relax your attitude about food. The more focus and attention you place on eating habits, the more of a battleground food will become. Kids can thrive eating the same foods over and over and avoiding anything new and different. The routine of a healthy after-school snack can ward off any kinds of battles. And when healthy options are available, that's what kids will eat, healthy food. So, encourage your children to become involved in the meal planning and preparation. It will motivate them to eat what's served, and it will teach them valuable skills that will enrich their lives. You will probably be pleased to see that they actually enjoy helping in the kitchen. For more information on parenting tips and ideas, please contact Family Links at 256-820-5911.
And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up this week, Christopher Way. Mr. Way, last known to be living in Piedmont. He's wanted for bond revocation on possession and receipt of a controlled substance and bond revocation on use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And here is Kimberly Sheffield. Miss Sheffield, last known to be living in Alexandria, she's wanted for failure to pay on theft of property first. And meet Keandra Morgan. Miss Morgan, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for failure to appear in possession and receipt of a controlled substance and possession of marijuana second. And meet Philip Jacks. Mr. Jacks, last known to be living in Oxford, he's wanted for failure to appear on theft of property first. And take a look at Jovetta Curry. Miss Curry, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for theft of property second. And this is Randall Holder. Mr. Holder, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on obstruction of governmental operations. And meet Forrest Maddox. Mr. Maddox, last known to be living in Ohatchee, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession and receipt of a controlled substance and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And last up for our first half is Janice Schluter. Miss Schluter, last known to be living in Gadsden, she's wanted for failure to appear on chemical endangerment of a child. And that's the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
That's the first half of the lineup. We got some more bad guys in a few minutes, but right now we've got Marlinda Cooper joining us. She's the coordinator, let me see if I can get this right, the Community Traffic Safety Program.
I'm very impressed.
All right.
Right on.
See, I have not started my Memorial Day celebrations yet. Still on it. But Memorial Day, a lot of people will be celebrating. They're also going to be traveling, headed down to the beach or wherever. And this is one of those holidays where we really put an emphasis on making sure that people are obeying the safety rules of the highway, because this is where we really have the potential to have some disasters.
That is correct. There are always more crashes, injuries, and traffic deaths around major holidays, and Memorial Day is one of the biggest.
Yeah, the Click It or Ticket program, you know, that's not one that's going to win a whole lot of votes for people who are in office. You know,
it has a ring to it, though, doesn't it?
Nobody likes getting the tickets,
no.
But we do have to understand, and hopefully most people do understand, it's all about protecting our safety.
That is correct. That's what it's about. Seatbelts really do save lives, and
you know, I've got a story on the seatbelts that the exception proves the rule quite often. My older brother, had an accident when he was only 16 years old, and he was not wearing his seatbelt, and he was ejected from the car and seriously hurt, but he lived. The police officers that responded to the scene looked at the vehicle, said, "This is the worst we have ever seen a vehicle where anybody survived." So you could look at that and say, well, not having the seatbelt on saved his life. And in his case, it probably did. Almost certainly did. But he recognizes he beat the odds that day.
Yeah.
That's
he
not
really
the
did.
way it usually goes. From that day on, he has never ridden in a vehicle without his seatbelt on. He knows he got lucky once. That's not the way it's going to go next time.
I've seen many a crash. I've seen people who weren't wearing their seatbelt ejected. I've seen them drugged down the road, and the families have to see that. You know, it's killed them, and people in the car had to live with it. We had an accident a long time ago. Kids weren't wearing their seatbelt. Both of them, they flipped. Both of them come out of the sunroof. Another person was in the car, and that one kid had to live with the fact that both of his buddies died, and both of them, I'm not saying they would have survived if they'd had their seatbelt on, but they wouldn't have been outside the car, drugged down the road and the pavement, and it's just a terrible thing to do. A seatbelt is really important to wear, and my kids know no different. If I get in the car and I crank it up and I start backing up, they say, hey, put your seatbelt on.
And some people even think, well, that seatbelt is going to keep me trapped in the vehicle. And there's always the exception. But Marlinda, the statistics say it's a whole lot more likely the other way around.
Absolutely. In fact, 98% of the people involved in traffic crashes who were wearing their seatbelts were not injured. So that's significant. On the ejection side, 6% of the people who were involved in traffic crashes that were not wearing their seatbelts were ejected. So, the odds, I'm glad your brother made it through okay, because the odds were definitely not in his favor, and I'm glad to hear he's buckling up.
He's fine today, and he's still got the scars from it.
Yeah.
But he's playing it smart.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it.
And how are we doing? I know, what was it, back in 91 or so that we put in the law that said you had to wear your seatbelt?
We did. At the time in Alabama, it was a secondary law, which means the law enforcement couldn't pull you over just for not wearing the seatbelt. There had to be some other violation involved. And then they would give you a ticket probably for that other violation and for not wearing a seatbelt. And then in 1999, Alabama upgraded that to a primary seatbelt law. And at that point, law enforcement could pull over drivers or any front seat occupants for not wearing their seatbelt.
And in the back seat, is it still optional?
Only if you're over the age of 15. All children under the age of 15 must be in the appropriate child restraint system wherever they're sitting in the vehicle, whether it's an infant or a young child under the age of 6, in a child passenger safety seat, or like I said, under the age of 15, they still have to be buckled no matter where they're sitting in the vehicle. So we shouldn't have any children riding around in the back of pickup trucks.
And you can get a separate ticket for that, right?
You can. It's illegal. Like I said, anyone under the age of 15 has to be restrained in the vehicle, regardless of where they sit. So
I was actually driving down Highway 78 a few weeks ago. A truck was in front of me with some kids in the back of the truck. The axle broke.
Oh my.
Goodness. They went sliding over, almost flipped over. And those are the luckiest kids in the world.
Yeah.
Well, there aren't many that turn out.
Sounds like that was a violation of
yeah.
Alabama traffic law in every single incident. Well, I'm glad that it didn't flip.
Well, if they had a wreck like that and some of those kids got killed, the driver of that truck very possibly could face some manslaughter, vehicular homicide charges. Something to think about. You're just having a good time carrying some kids somewhere. Next thing you know, you got not only have to live with them being hurt or killed, you're going to go to prison for it. So
yeah. That's tragedy upon tragedy.
And it's not worth it because it's so preventable. It doesn't take long to buckle your seatbelt. It doesn't take long to really buckle your kids in their child seats. And so those kind of things are senseless and unpreventable when they just don't buckle up and they get injured or killed. And in fact, it's one of the 3 top contributing factors to traffic deaths in our region and in our state is not buckling up. And the other 2 are driving under the influence and speeding.
Well, let's talk more about the program here in just a second. We need to take a quick break. We will be back with the second half of this week's lineup and more about the Click It or Ticket program on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Congratulations on Calhoun County Most Wanted and Crime Stoppers for 10 years on the air and 3,000 arrests.
Congratulations to Calhoun County's Most Wanted, 10 years on the air, and the Crime Stoppers for their 3,000 arrests. Great job, guys. Keep up the good work.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
a crackhead
drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch.
like me.
I once was.
Homeless.
Broken. Sad.
Just lost. But now I am sober.
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Looking for a new or used vehicle? AOD Federal Credit Union can help. We offer low interest rates and financing terms to work with your budget. We can save you time and money, whether it's at one of our convenient office locations or through one of our participating dealers. Visit an office, call, or head to AODFCU.com to get your best deal now. Low auto loan rates, always at AOD Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions may apply. To obtain additional details and cost information, call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com. Federally insured by the NCUA.
I'm Calhoun County Sheriff Larry Emerson. Don't risk your life and the lives of others by texting while driving. Put the phone down or safely pull over. Looking down for 1 second is all it really takes. Is it really worth it?
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Michael Jackson. Mr. Jackson, last known to be living in Raglan, and he's wanted for theft and by deception, third. And this is Joshua Hurlbert. Mr. Hurlbert, last known to be living in Ohatchee, he's wanted for probation revocation on domestic violence, third assault. And take a look at Christopher Smith. Mr. Smith, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to pay child support, the face of a deadbeat dad. And here's another deadbeat dad, Lavelle Jones. Mr. Jones, last known to be living in Gadsden, yes, he's wanted for failure to pay child support. And here is Carrie Bowers. Bowers, last known to be living in Jacksonville, wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana, second. And meet Charles Helsel. Mr. Helsel, last known to be living in Lincoln, he's wanted for writing bad checks. And last up in our lineup this week, Melody Williamson. Miss Williamson, last known to be living in Piedmont, she's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana, first. And that's our lineup for this week. If you have any information on these folks, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers, 256-238-1414.
We'll have the Crime Stoppers segment of the show here in just a few minutes. Talk about some unsolved crimes. Maybe you can help us with those. We'll also have our crazy criminal of the week. But right now we're talking with Marlinda Cooper about the Click It or Ticket program. And Marlinda, it's for the area around the Memorial Day holiday. We're not there yet, but we have already started the Click It or Ticket.
We really did. In fact, we started yesterday, May 19th, and it will run through June 1st.
And this is not just a veiled threat to hand out more tickets. These tickets are going to be handed out unless people obey the law.
That's correct. Just in our little 8-county region in East Alabama last year, during this 2-week Memorial Day Blitz campaign of Click It or Ticket, law enforcement issued almost 500 seatbelt citations and 20 child passenger safety seat citations.
And Matthew, I know the Sheriff's Office is part of the program. We've got 4 different agencies, I believe, right here in Calhoun County that are participating.
Absolutely. You know, deputies get paid money through this grant to work overtime to directly hit on that, make sure that people are wearing their seat belts and children are buckled up and safe, make sure people ain't drinking and driving.
All right. So, is it working, Melinda? Let's look at the data that you've got. We don't want to get too deep in the numbers
I
here,
understand.
But is it working?
In short, yes, it really is. The Community Traffic Safety Program started in 2001, and we've been doing it every year since then with wonderful law enforcement agencies such as Calhoun Sheriff's Office and many other throughout the region. And we have 8 counties in our region. And in those 8 counties alone, we've had decreases in crashes, injuries, and traffic deaths, as well as DUI-related crashes, injuries, and traffic deaths. And I mean, across the board, every category.
I know that's welcome from the viewpoint of somebody who has to respond to those accidents.
Absolutely. And anything we can do to help out is what we want to try to do. This is a voluntary program, and deputies do it to make a little extra money, but there are stiff requirements set on them by the grant where they have to produce. And to get that extra overtime money, And in the same time, when people get mad at us, hopefully it leaves a lasting impression that they buckle up.
Yeah, none of us like any kind of a ticket quota or anything like that, but the fact of the matter is, a program like this, if it really does make a difference, if it does save lives and save quality of lives, it's worth doing.
It is definitely worth doing, and I will say there is no quota for the issuance of tickets. There's no minimal amount that they're expected to issue, but they do have to do something. They can't just drive around and make the little extra overtime money. They have to do something. So.
And we were talking about here locally in Calhoun County, but this is not just a local program. Once you drive out of Calhoun or the surrounding counties on your way to the beach or the mountains or visiting family in Wyoming or wherever you're going, you're not done with it.
That's correct. This is a region-wide, it is a statewide, and it is a nationwide campaign until June 1st. And then even after that, I still encourage everyone to still buckle up, yourself, your children, every time, every trip, every day. It's important. It saves lives.
It saves lives, and most of the people that are affected are the people who are closest to you.
Yeah.
And that's,
Definitely.
you were talking about that earlier, Matthew, living with the guilt of knowing that you could have prevented this, especially to your children. The kids, we all want to be our kids' friends to some degree. We want to be able to say yes to them, but the fact of the matter is they are kids. We are responsible for making, not just personally responsible, but also legally responsible for making the right decisions for them.
And what we teach them hopefully will last their lifetime too.
And my kids actually do a good job of watching me now, because I'll be honest with you, I'm more likely to drive. I never go a long distance, but there have been some times when I would drive a short distance without having my seatbelt on. If the kids are in the car, I'm not going to get away with it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and I hear that quite often. But they say most of the traffic crashes, including injuries and fatalities, happen within 5 miles of home.
Right.
So those short trips, that's statistically, you really need that. That's what gets you more than anything. So, but always buckle up, no matter where you go.
I do know that from here on out, I'm going to start watching a little more carefully.
I'm just being honest here, and I try to do a better job, and I am doing a better job. But I appreciate my kids pointing me out.
I'm going to be watching.
Oh, I know you will be. All right. About out of time, but is there somewhere people can go to get more information about this?
There is. They can go to www.nhtsa.gov. That's NHTSA.gov, which is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And they have a wonderful website about Click It or Ticket and upcoming campaigns focusing on other things. And they can also call my office at 256-832-1254, and our office is at Gadsden State Community College. I'm based out of the Ayers campus here in Anniston, and they're welcome to call me for more information or go to the website.
All right, Marlinda, thank you for taking the time to be here with us, and hopefully we'll all have a safe Memorial Day holiday.
I hope so, and like you said before, we want it to be fun, but we also want it to be safe. And thank you for having me today. And I appreciate Gadsden State Community College for their support of this program.
Absolutely.
Also.
All right, we will take a break. When we come back, it'll be time for the Crime Stoppers segment and also our Crazy Criminal of the Week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Congratulations to Calhoun County's Crime Stoppers and the Most Wanted program that airs on the TV all the time, and for being on the air for 10 years, and also for arresting over 3,000 people. Great job, guys.
More than half of kids 12 to 17 years old have personal web pages, videos, or blogs. It's called social networking. As a parent, you should be monitoring your child's web pages. Find out the name of their site and go to it at least 3 times a week. Check for inappropriate material, for pictures, comments, and messages. Make sure your child doesn't post their personal information. Software is available to help you monitor your child's internet use. I'm Calhoun County Sheriff Larry Amerson. For more information, log on to our website or call the number on your screen.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead,
Drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch
like me.
I once was.
homeless,
Broken. Sad.
Just lost. But now I am sober.
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored. thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Looking for a new or used vehicle? AOD Federal Credit Union can help. We offer low interest rates and financing terms to work with your budget. We can save you time and money, whether it's at one of our convenient office locations or through one of our participating dealers. Visit an office, call, or head to AODFCU.com to get your best deal now. Low auto loan rates, always at AOD Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions may apply. To obtain additional details and cost information, call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Being with you was a blast. Our future together was looking pretty good. We had some great times. Everything was going so great. But you made a stupid choice that killed our relationship. I'm gonna miss you.
His choice was to drink and then drive. Underage drinking can cost you your freedom. Drinking and driving can cost you your future. There is no future with alcohol.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we want you to put your deer stalkers on and help our investigators with these cases. First up, between May 9th and May 12th, an orange Husqvarna riding lawnmower was stolen from this residence on Alexandria-Jacksonville Highway in Alexandria. And on May 12th, a storage shed located on Mount View Road in Alexandria was broken into. They got away with various power tools. And sometime between May 1st and May 10th, fishing poles, hand trucks, and a toolbox containing various tools was stolen from this residence on Riches Lane in Jacksonville. And between May 16th and May 17th, a beige 1996 Lincoln Continental was broken into. The vehicle was parked at this residence on Pattyway Drive in Alexandria. A purse was stolen from that vehicle. So don't leave your purses in your cars, folks. And last up on your caseload this week, on May 17th, an unknown suspect or suspects shot into this occupied residence on Gate 5 Road in Alexandria. And that's your cases for Crime Stoppers this week. If you have any information on these cases, and we hope you do, we'd like you to call Crime Stoppers at 256-238-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Our crazy criminal this week is making big money. As a matter of fact, he's making it a little bit too big. That's how they caught him.
Greed to get you.
No, actually, he is a counterfeiter. He was having to go to court to pay a $400 fine, and he decided that he would pay that fine in counterfeit money. You know, we may not always think the highest of government workers. I know there are jokes around, but the folks working in the courthouse, they're going to be able to spot bills that all have the same serial number.
You know, people talk about using drugs. People are stupid for using drugs. They're not stupid. They just don't make good choices. And this was not a good choice.
Yeah. Now, my uncle actually got busted for making counterfeit $2 bills. He was taking the 20s and erasing the zeros. Didn't work out too well for him.
You know, tell him to come see me about that.
Yeah. All right, well, that's about all the time that we've got for this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Again, if you missed the lineup, go to the Facebook page. You can see everybody on there. We've got a video there for you, and we'll be looking for you again next week, hopefully safe after the Memorial Day holiday, and hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
I see public service as a high calling, and particularly in family court, where the most important issues in a family are determined. I've practiced law in domestic relations court since 1981, and that experience helps me make the best decisions for the parties who come before me. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate the opportunity to serve you. Please vote for me on June the 3rd.